Okay, there we go. Let's get moving. It's 1:15. What I'm hoping is if we work hard in the next bit, then we can get everything done and we can go home at lunch. You don't want that? That's not a good plan. That's a good plan. That excites everybody. All right. Okay. This is more like it, right? This is what I want. This is the kind of energy and response I wanted here. I didn't realize I just had to tell you to go home for lunch before to get it. All right. So that means we need to work hard, though. Deal? Deal. All right. So now there's a couple of adjectives we need to just kind of get our head around here that are a little bit different. So turn to page something or other. I'll try and read it. I need my glasses to be able to see that. Turn to page 60. Turn to page 60 of Duff. Page 60 of Duff is where you're at, where you want to be at. And we're meeting two adjectives, poulos and megas. Now, Jotham asked about these adjectives the other day, two different adjectives. What does Duff call them in vocab? Two adjectives, two of these guys are not like the others. Two slightly irregular adjectives is what he calls them in the vocab there. And you can see them there. And these two adjectives, well, they kind of behave a bit like agathos, but kind of just a little bit different too. So, like, if you have a look at the feminine, for instance, of poulos, it's poulet, poulin, poules, poulet, poulai, poulas, poulon, poulas. Exactly what we want, right? It's exactly the same as agathos. It's exactly the same as everything. And if you go from like the genitive singular down, pelou, pelot, peloi, pelus, peloin, pelois, right? Or neuter, pelou, pelot, pela, pela, peloin, pelois. It's exactly what we want as well, right? So all we're talking about is the nominative and accusative masculine singular and the nominative accusative neuter singular that are just a little bit different, just a tiny little bit. You don't have the double lambda, you've only got a single lambda. And rather than being poulos, which we'd want it to be, it's poulus. And rather than being poulon, which we'd want it to be, it's pouloun. Okay? You see, they're just a little bit different. Just those two words. That's all it is, just a little bit different. And then in the neuter, it's pelou, pelou, right? Just the rest is all exactly what we want it to be. It's just those four words. The nominative and accusative singular masculine and the nominative accusative singular neuter that are different to agathos, that are different to what we'd want to know, yeah? You with me? You can see that as we look at the table. And then if you go have a look at megas, you can see it's going to be exactly the same as, well, feminine, megale, megalen, s, exactly what we want. And if you go from genitive down, megalou, megalo, megaloi, megalus, megalone, megalus, right? Exactly what we want, exactly what we want. It's megal is the stem. But then if we go to the masculine nominative singular, instead of it being megalos, which is what we want it to be, it's just megas. And instead of it being megalon, it's megon, megan. All right? And then if we go to the neuter, it's just mega, mega. Okay, so again, it's just those four that are different. The rest is exactly the same table as you want. Now, for my mind, these are just two words, right? They're just this word. It doesn't apply anywhere else. Nothing else behaves like this. It's just these two words. So for my mind, like, you know, I wouldn't worry learning that whole paradigm, that whole table or anything like that. The reason why we learn paradigms is because, like, we learn agathos because every other adjective behaves like that. And we learn logos because all of it, right? You just learn one for just one, not worth it, all right? It's just like, we're going to learn a whole paradigm just for poulos because that's the only word that behaves like that. That's an exception, right? So I'm just pointing it out to you to make sure that you recognize it there. It's an exception. It basically behaves very similarly to the others, but not quite exactly the same. And I wouldn't worry much more than that. The idea is that you could recognize it, right? Out in the wild. Poulos, are you going to recognize it? Well, hopefully you are. And megales and megae, hopefully you'd recognize it out in the wild. You've learned it from your vocab. That's the other thing. Because when you got it in your vocab, you've got the masculine and the neuter nominative singulars, which means you've pretty much got everything if you just know that those nominative singulars are a little bit different and as are the accusative singulars, but the rest of them are all the same. Yeah? So nothing major about that, but they are slightly irregular adjectives as Duff describes them in the vocab there. Yeah? We should meet them and just clarify what's going on there. Everyone happy? I'm not going to get you to learn that whole paradigm just for the sake of one word. That's not worth it as far as I'm concerned. But you do need to be aware of it. Okay. Okay, so what we want to do, let's try and put some of this stuff into practice. Where do we want to be? Yeah, so page 59, halfway practice, not the practice 5.4, the halfway practice of page 59. Let's just do one or two of these, or two or three of these quickly, and try and get some of this stuff into our head, try and pull together some of the things that we've been looking at over the last couple of days. So let's try and at least get up to question 4. That'd be good. Let's try and at least get up to question 4. Halfway practice. Yeah, so the first one is ho petros phile top necron technon, right? That's the first one we're doing. And we're going to work on these 4, and we're going to pull together everything that we've been learning about nouns, and about verbs, and about prepositions, and about adjectives, and it's all going to be there for us, yeah? Okay? So let's work on these then. I'll walk around. Oh, I don't do that, do I, right? I don't do that. No. What's the first thing I do? I find my verb. There's my verb, fillet. Right? What's the second thing I do? Was anybody here yesterday? Anybody? Hello, were you here? What do I do? What's the next thing I do? Always bracket my prepositional phrases. Do we have any? No. Okay, I don't need to worry about it then. But I always bracket my prepositional phrases. Okay, now I go to my verb. What's the vocab word hiding behind the verb? Phileo, which means I love. But what's the ending tell me? He, she, or it loves. Does my sentence tell me who he, she, or it is? Yes, it does, because I have a nominative noun. Petros looks nominative to me, right? Okay? This is the way you've got to go. Are you getting this? I say this every time we go through it, but as I walk around, not everyone's following the rules. Not everyone's following the pattern. Follow the pattern, people. The steps are there to help you. So Peter loves. What does Peter love? Well, we've got an accusative phrase over here. This is all accusative, neuter, and singular, all of it, which is good because we know there's the object of what Peter loves. Yeah? Peter loves, accusative means it's the object of the verb, object of the sentence. But now we've got an adjective here. Necron, what does it mean? Dead, right? How do I know that's an adjective? Because I've learnt my vocab. Listen, you've got to learn your vocab, people. You've got to learn your vocab. You've got no chance if you don't know the vocab, right? You've got to learn your vocab. I marked your vocab test while I was during morning tea. Quick mark, got through them all. Okay, some of you are doing great. For some of you are doing really well. That's awesome. Some of you, if you got you know what you got in that test, right? Because I went through and I gave you the answers. If you got less than 10 in that test, then you really need to step up, okay? Not doing enough work on putting your vocab into your head. Really got to practice it. If you're struggling with it, put your hand up. Ask for help. Ask your friends, how are they getting it to work? Come and call me. Come and sit in my office. Give me a WhatsApp. Send me an email. Don't just drown by yourself. But if you're just not putting the effort in, then it's time to put the effort in, right? Okay? It's not too late. You can get it together before Friday. But we've really got to work on our vocab. Okay? So, yeah. Adjective. But now I've got an adjectival phrase. And what's the pattern? Well, this time I've got article, adjective, noun. So what does article, adjective, noun tell me about the use of the adjective? Because as soon as I find an adjective out in the wild, I've got to ask myself, okay, how's that adjective being used? Because I know there are 3 different uses of the adjective. Now, article, adjective, noun tells me how is that adjective being used? As an attributive adjective. We just learned that this morning, right? So that's an attributive adjective, so it's the dead child. Awesome. Peter loves the dead child. Good on Peter. It's very kind of him, right? That's what our sentence is. Who's got questions about that? Yeah. Why does that matter? Or are they? Article and adjective have to agree with its noun in case, number, and gender. Always. Yeah? So no, this is the neuter accusative singular form. Technon, yeah? Vocab. Where does technon belong? Or just thinking your vocab. Is it technon or is it technos? It's technon, yeah? Yeah, which means it belongs in that ergon pile, which means it's neuter, yeah? So technon, like ergon. Technon. This is the accusative neuter singular. So yeah, article and adjective always have to agree with the noun that they're talking about, yeah. So yeah, this is the accusative neuter, all accusative neuter. And if you didn't know that, that's okay. You'd come over to the article, because the article's your friend, right? So you'd be confused. You're thinking, I thought that was masculine, which is what you were thinking, all right? But you go, no, it can't be masculine because that's the neuter article. And the article is always going to agree with its noun in case, number, and gender, and the adjective as well. So that's going to tell you because the article is your friend, yeah? Learn the article, you get a whole stack of stuff for free. Lots of information comes from the article. Helps you, yeah. Any other questions about that one? Nice, easy start. Not too bad. Okay, what about the next one then? Going to go to the verb first. That's the first thing I do. I go find my verb. And that looks like a verb to me because, look, that's got an article in front of it, so that means that better be a noun or something. That's got an article in front of it, so that can't be a verb. That's got an article in front of it, so that's my only option, right? It's got to be the verb because everything else has got an article in front of it. Okay, blepe. Go to that. What's the vocab word hiding behind it? Blepo. And blepo means I see, and I look at the ending, and it's third person singular. So it's he, she, or it sees. Excellent. And then I ask the question, does my sentence tell me who he, she, or it is? Does it? Lots of confident answers there, right? What I'm asking is there a nominative noun in my sentence? Yes, there is, right? This looks like nominative, 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 nominative. It's all nominative, yeah? So here's my subject, but it's an adjective. Because I recognize that touflos is an adjective because of my vocab, yeah? And it means? All right, but now I've got an adjective. I'm going to ask myself, how's the adjective being used, right? Because adjectives can be used in 3 different ways. So how's the adjective being used here? And I look at the pattern, I see I've got article, noun, article, adjective. And article, noun, article, adjective is Greek's way of telling me what use of the adjective is it. Attributive use of the adjective. So I'm going to say, the blind son sees. Right? And what does the blind son see? Here's my accusative, here's my object. What does the blind son see? He sees the Christ. The blind son sees the Christ. Yeah? Everybody happy with that one? Got questions? Yeah? Yeah, you could probably just say the blind son sees Christ, but I'd say the Christ. Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's quickly do question 3 because there's some people who are upset about that one. Oh, I'd like to do question 4 too because that's got like some fun stuff in it as well. So maybe we'll do question 3 and 4. We could just do this all day because it's so much fun. Question 3. This one will put the cat amongst the pigeons, as they say. Hagion, kalusin, ton kurion. Okay, what's the first thing I do when I can't translate a Greek sentence? I find the verb. And my verb looks like here, kalusin. Okay, so I'm going to... What's the vocab word hiding behind the word? Kaleo means I call, but kalusin, the ending tells me that it's the third person plural, so I'm going to translate kalusin as they call. Does my sentence tell me who they are? Is there a nominative noun anywhere? No. Doesn't tell me. So, there we go. I know how to start my sentence. They call. Okay, now what do they call? Okay, do I have accusative nouns here? Yes. Accusative noun. This looks like an accusative, ton kurion. And this looks like it's accusative too. And this, I know from my vocab, is an adjective. Hagios. Oops. spelt that wrong. Hagios, right? It's a vocab. I know that from my vocab, that it's an adjective and that it means holy, right? So now I've got an adjective. I'm going to ask myself the question, how is the adjective being used in this sentence, right? Because adjectives can be used in 3 different ways. And then I look at what Greek is telling me about how the adjective is being used. And this time, despite the fact that I've got a verb shoved in the middle of it, I've still got the same pattern, which is adjective, article, noun. Adjective, article, noun. An adjective, article, noun is Greek's way of telling me that the adjective is behaving how? Adjective, article, noun is a predicate use of the adjective, isn't it? Right? So if all I had was hagion, ton, kurion, how would you translate that adjectival phrase? The Lord is holy. So they call the Lord is holy. That's what they call, right? They call the Lord is holy. That's how you'd translate that one. Who got something different to that? Lots of people. So what do we get different? Because this is a tricky one. This is a good one to play with and learn with. Yeah, Jasmine, what do we get? They called the Lord holy. Yeah. And that's, you can say that's pretty much exactly the same thing, right? I think if you look at the answers, that might be what they've got in the answer there. And so that's okay. I'd give you the marks for that. That's not a problem. But I want you to get in the habit here of realizing that this is the predicate use of the noun. The Lord is holy. But yeah, what other problems do we have? They call holy is the Lord. Yeah, no, we don't want to do that because this is an adjective and it's describing the Lord. The Lord is holy, but holy is the Lord. Yeah, I might get away with that too. If I was in a good mood, I'd probably give you that as well. Any others? Can you see that this adjective has to go with that noun, even though it's separated because they're the same case, number, and gender. Yeah, this is what Greek can do, right? Because we can put that verb anywhere we want because we know that this is connected with this anyway because it's the same case, number, and gender. Yeah, which is why it's connected. And whether we've got the verb in there or not, we've still got the same pattern. Okay, let's just quickly do 4 as well, because there's some cool stuff going on in 4. And then we'll push on and learn our next bit and get going before lunch so we can finish at lunchtime. Okay, question 4 says, ballet alto ice 10 calen can. Okay. Again, same pattern, same approach every single time. This is the way you should be doing it. Are you imbibing this yet? Right? This is the way you should approach translation. You find your verb first. Yeah? What's my verb? Ballet looks like my verb. Then the next thing we do that we learnt yesterday afternoon, and now it's becoming important, is we always bracket our prepositional phrases. Always, 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 always bracket your prepositional phrases. Do I have a preposition here? Ice. Where does it end? That looks... all the same case, yeah? They're all the same case, so I'm going to put them all inside the prepositional phrase, yeah? Okay, once I've found my verb and I've bracketed my prepositional phrases, now I'm ready to start thinking about how to put it together in translation. I go to my verb first. What's the vocab word hiding behind the verb? This time it's below. Nice and easy. And what's the ending tell me? That it's, come on people, engage with me please. Third person singular, yes. So it's he, she, or it throws. Does my sentence tell me who he, she, or it is? Does it? Does it not? Who says yes? Who says no? No. Why are half of you not got your hand up? No, not okay. Well, who says yes? Tashwell, why? Which one? Our toe, because this is, hey? It. This is the nominative, yeah? Nominative, singular, neuter form is what you're saying, yeah? Okay? Of the third person pronoun, it, that we learned the other day. It is the nominative form, yes. But remember when it comes to neuters, the nominative and accusative are exactly the same form. So now I'm asking myself, is this the nominative or is this the accusative? Well, let's have a look at the context and see if we can figure it out. Let's say it's the nominative for a second. It throws, okay? It throws. We could do that. We could go, it throws. And we make this into the nominative. It throws. What does it throw? Tashwell, you said it was the subject. What does it throw? It throws. There's nothing. Now there's nothing suddenly. Now we don't have an accusative. Now we don't have an object to our verb. That's a bit of a problem, right? And that kind of makes me go, yeah, you know what, actually, I'm pretty sure this is not the nominative. This is the accusative. This is going to be the object of my sentence. So it's not it throws. It's he, she, or it throws. We don't have much more than that at the moment. But he, she, or it throws it. Right? It. This is my accusative. Yeah? It's the object of my verb. Because if I make it the subject, then my sentence doesn't make sense. So context helps me see that this is going to be the accusative case noun at this time. He, she, or it throws it. Now I've got a prepositional phrase. Can't know the meaning of my preposition until I know the case of the noun that follows it. So what's the case of the noun that follows it in this case? Ice plus the accusative. Now I can go to my vocab. Ice plus the accusative means into. He throws it into. Now I come to my phrase, and inside my prepositional phrase, inside the brackets, I've now got an adjectival phrase as well. I've got an adjectival phrase inside my prepositional phrase. Because Calais is an adjective that I recognise from my vocab, meaning kalos, good or beautiful, right? Okay. Kalos meaning good or beautiful. No? We're lost. Kalos. What were you like? Kaleo. Okay. So what ending did you say it was then from your verb? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So now we've got a vocab word, kaleo, and we've got a vocab word, kalos. Yeah? One's a verb, one's an adjective. Yeah, so I can understand why you might go there with your gut, but as soon as you went to that ending, you'd start thinking, hang on, something's a bit wrong here, because that doesn't look like a verb ending to me. And then you go, ten, kalen, gan, and you go, oh, hang on. Yeah, no. This is an adjective, yeah? This is an adjective. Okay, so now I come across an adjective out in the wild. I'm going to ask myself, how's the adjective being used? Right? Because this is what we need to do. We need to ask how the adjective is being used. Because there are lots of three different uses of the adjective. And this time it's going to tell me article, adjective, noun. Article, adjective, noun is Greek's way of telling me that it's what use of the adjective? The attributive use of the adjective. So he, she, or it throws it into the, what do we say? Good earth or soil or something like that. Yeah? Yes?
The colors. I was wondering if it's feminine or not.
Well, it's an adjective, so it can play across the field, can't it? So it has to take the feminine endings if it's an adjective connected to a feminine noun. Yeah?
So would it be okay to take that and say she?
No. No. Because that's got nothing to do with the subject. It's not the nominative case. It's got nothing to do with the subject of our sentence. Yeah. It's only feminine because ger is a feminine noun. Yeah? And so it has to agree with its noun in case, number, and gender. Yeah. Got nothing to do with the subject. And gender here has got nothing to do with being a man or a woman. Just the noun. This might be. Any other questions about that one? So inside a preposition phrase, we've got an adjectival phrase, but that's okay, we can deal with that. Yeah? And every time you come across an adjective, you're going to ask yourself, how's the adjective being used? And Greek's going to tell you by the little ways that we've just been looking at and how that's all worked out. Okay. Cool? Everybody happy? Happy enough. All right, we'll stand up and have a little bit of stretch then, because we're about to start looking at something different for a second. So stand up, give yourself a stretch. And let's push on before lunch so that we can finish at lunch. Because I believe you're excited by that idea. First time. First shot. All right. Derek, I don't want to say it, but I chose the wrong person, obviously. I mean, that's quite clear.
No, I'm blessed to go first.
Yeah. Amazing. It's about technique. Derek, if you could spend some time working on your vocab this afternoon, that would be great. And if you could spare a little time with Eden to help your throwing technique, because we need you to learn. No, just kidding. All right, okay, sit down. We lost Jotham. Here's the question. What is the verb in this sentence? That's the question. Yes. Is the verb in that sentence. Is the verb of existence, the verb to be, the verb of being. Because being actually is doing. Being is a verb, right? And so is a verb. What is the verb in this sentence? The verb is, right? And that little verb is, or the verb to be, we call it the verb to be, the verb of existence. That verb is a massively important verb no matter what your language is. It is massively, massively important in every single language that you come across. The verb to be. And not only is it important, often it's quite unique in every language. Often the verb to be doesn't behave like every other verb behaves. It's its own special little verb because it's a very important verb and it occurs all the time. So I need your... grab me the bottle of sanitizer up there. I left my little pocket sanitizer in my office. Okay, so I'm going to need your help, right? And we want to do this as quick as we can, and we want to do it as cool as we can. But I want to learn about the verb to be, the verb of existence. So, how do I write the verb to be in English? I can't get up that high. I just can't. I need a chair. How do I write the verb to be in English? What would be the first person? There we go. English. What would be the first person singular form of the verb? Almost. The verb to be in English. I am. I exist, right? First person singular. I am. Second person singular. You are. Third person singular. She or it is. First person plural. Second person plural. Yous are. You are. And third person plural. They are. Okay, nobody else is going to need this chair because you can all reach higher than I can. But I want to know how we do that, because this is a very important paradigm for every language, yeah? Not just for English, not just for Greek, but for every language. So, it's the cosa. Who's going to come and do it for me? Come on. Onati. Come, brother. Come and write up for us. Wait, let me sanitize the pen. What did I just do with the pen sanitizer? Sanitize the pen, sanitize the pen. Okay, come and write up for us what that would look like. I want to do it short. I don't want to take up too much room because I want to get as many up here on the board as I can. But what would it look like? What's the paradigm for isi cosa? How do I say I am? Say it for us. Na. Okay. You are. Wena. He, she, or it is. Yena. We are. Tina. Who said that? Oh, you want to help him out with you? Second person plural. You plural are. Nina. And third person plural, they are. Borna. Nice. Excellent. Okay, sanitize the pen. Who's going to come up next one? Let's do Isizulu. Tokozani. All right, come and put it up then. You're going to have to write Isizulu up the top as well because I can't reach that high. Don't take up too much space. Yeah. I want to get as many of these as we can up here. Mana. Wena. Yena. It's pretty similar. Tin. Exactly the same. Just a minor, not a na. Yeah. Okay. All right. Excellent. I Afrikaans. Who comes speak Afrikaans for us? Who's going to do it? Excellent. Thank you. Come and put up Afrikaans for us. Nice and sterilized pen now. Right, Afrikaans at the top. Don't take up too much room. Afrikaans and ek is. Nice. And second person single. Jy is. Oh no, don't go. You can go down further. Yeah. Ek is. First person plural. Ons is. Julle. Julle is. And third person plural. Hang on, we've changed our grammar. Second person plural and third person plural. You is, you are, and they are, same. No one wants to argue with that? All right. Crazy Afrikaans language. All right. So then, what else have we got? Let's move up our country. Shauna. Come, Zim, Shauna. Let's get Shauna up there. How would you say it in Shauna? Say it first, Gift, as you're writing it out loud. Shauna. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Where are we going next? Hey? Zambia. Zambia. Who's going to come? Come, Josh. You're not sure about this? Well, that's a problem. You need Jotham's help. Yeah, well, give me yours. Give me the most common. What are we giving me? Bemba. You got something different, or is it the same? Okay. Call it out for us, Josh. We're sloping upwards here in our lines here. Help him out. Second person plural. Hey? Imwe. And third person plural? Bye. Yeah? You happy? You got nothing different? Same? Okay. Nice. Bemba, call it out for us. You read it for us. Jotham? Just read it.
Okay, so that's first person iwe.
Yep.
Ile, iwe, uyo, ifwe, imwe, raya.
Okay, excellent. If we. Nice. First person plural, if we. All right. Where are we going now on our journey? Luganda. Come, give us Luganda. The pearl of Africa. Yeah, exactly. In Luganda, we'd say Nze. We've missed one. Oh, no, we haven't. Just got on the side and all that. Okay, are you Uganda brothers? We're happy with his grammar? Yeah? No different? It's okay. It's okay. Okay, Nazwe, Mewe, Ole, Fe, Is it no different? Second person singular, second person plural. Same problem in Luganda as there is in English. Yeah? Do you say use as well? No? All right. Okay, where else are we going? Ghana. Come, brother. Take us to Ghana. Give us your language. All right, put it up there. And how would you say this infanti? Yeah, write it all up. Tell us how to say it. M. Are there any other Ghanaians in our... Okay, so you can write whatever you want. No one's going to get you in trouble, man. You're good. No one's going to bust you. Yeah, keep going. Okay? Say it for us. Okay, thank you. So if I say third person singular, he, she, or it is, and I say first person plural, we are, it's exactly the same word. We can't tell the difference between we are doing it and he's doing it. Context, yeah, context is your friend. Yeah. Nice, excellent. But before we get to South Sudan, Herbert, hey, wait, South Sudan. Wait. Wait. We're going up the continent. You're at the very top. You win. Herbert, we need Herbert. Herbert, yes. What are you going to give us, brother? Swahili. Yeah. Wonderful. Swahili. From Kenya. Swahili. Draw a line down there and give us Swahili. Mini. Wewe. Yeah. Wow. Okay, write Swahili at the top because I can't reach. Say it for us. Say it. Say it out loud for us. Read it. No, that's it. Yeah. Read. What would it say? Yeah. Excellent. All right. Thank you. Okay. Now, South Sudan, you can come now. Can you give us Arabic?
Arabic? No, I don't know.
You can't give us Arabic. What are you going to give us?
I can just write the language that I speak.
Which is?
Dinka.
You put it up there. Put a line down. Tell us what it is at the top. Make that line go all the way to the top. Yeah, that's it. Tell us what the language is first. Yeah. Dinka. Nice. All right. Now, how would you say this in Dinka? Okay. You got them all. Eh? You've done it. You've just squeezed them all together. Okay. So, pronounce. Read it for us.
Yin, yen, kek, wo, yin, yo.
Okay. This one?
Yin,
This one?
yen.
Yena. Okay. Yin, yena, yor. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Is anybody's home language not up on the board? Does anyone speak a language we haven't got on the board yet? Australian. Yeah. Oh, well, I'll change it to use. That'll be the only difference in English and Australian. Okay, cool. That's awesome, right? I love that. Hey, this is our class, right? These are all your languages. This is what we speak. This is who we are. And this is how we say the verb to be. Now, if you look at your language up there and you see it on the board, you'll realize just how important those words are and how much you use them all the time, yeah? All the time those words are used, and it's just the same in Greek. And so we need to add Greek to this table now, because now you can speak Greek. So we're going to learn the verb to be in Greek, and it's Amy. Amy. So what's the present active indicative paradigm of Amy? If I was to write Amy up there, if I was to write Greek up there, it would be this. Amy, first person singular, I am. So let me give that to you, right? We're just doing the same thing. It's exactly the same table as we've been doing up here. Amy, I am. A, you are. Or I, you are. Eston, he, she, or it is. Esmen, we are. Esther, you are. And Ison, they are. Now, you'll know from your own language as well, just as we do from English and just as we do from everything, that this paradigm is probably pretty unique, right? Because the verb to be, Amy, is usually quite unique. So there aren't any other verbs that follow this pattern in Greek, but you'll know just how important these words are for any language if you think about your own language. And so they're just as important for Greek, right? These are massively important verbs. They come up all the time. And so we're going to learn this verb paradigm. And while you're writing that down, I'm going to take a photo of our class. Try and take a photo of our class at least. Without all the... No. Too much glare. Sweet. Okay. Amy, I, Eston, Esmen, Esther, and Ison. That is the verb to be paradigm for Greek, right? And as we just looked at, you're going to realize this is a very important verb. Now, notice something here. A trap for young players, right? Don't fall into this trap. Here's a trap for young players right here. I. Because I looks a lot like I. You've learned another word that looks a lot like that. I, and, which means if, and I, which means you are. Difference between I and I? Only difference is the circumflex. The only difference is the accent mark. Yeah? That's the only difference. Now, I said to you on the first day of summer school, when we were learning about all those dots and dashes and squiggles and everything like that, I said, these are accent marks. You don't have to worry about accent marks unless you have to worry about the accent mark. Yeah? All right? You don't have to worry about accent marks unless the accent mark changes the meaning of the word. Now, there's going to be a few of these, but this is the first one we've met, right? Where the accent mark changes the meaning of the word. This is very important. There's a big difference between if and you are, right? And the only difference, actually, is that little squiggly circumflex there. Okay? So you've got to make sure that that is there when you are writing it out. You've got to make sure that that is there when it's in your head. You've got to make sure that when you're translating, you are looking at the detail enough to be able to recognize that that circumflex, that little squiggle on the top there, that accent mark, changes the meaning of the word completely. It's no longer if, it's now you are, right? And that's really important. We've got to make sure we get that right. So trap for young players there. Don't fall for that trap. Make sure we got that right. Okay, you've got to learn this, right? You're just going to have to get this into your head because this paradigm, as we've said, you know how common those words appear in your own language. This paradigm appear all the time in Greek and it'll come up all the time. And so you need to make sure that you are learning this new paradigm as well, right? We haven't spent much time in verb world. We haven't learned any verb paradigms since like Thursday last week. But here's a new verb paradigm for you. It's the Amy verb, and it is massively, 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 massively important. All right? So we've got to learn it. Okay? Got it? You've written it down. Should we say it? I think we should say it. Stand up. Stand up. All right. Let's say it together. Amy, I, Esten, Esmen, Esther, Isen. Amy, I, Esten, Esmen, Esther, Isen. All right? Okay? This is what you've got to try and get into your head. You've got to come up with your own way of doing it. I had a student a few years ago who made up a whole story. Here's a whole story about how he and his girlfriend Amy were going and they met the X-Men and they were trying to do whatever. They came up with this massive, big, elaborate story that helped them remember that they weren't going to sin and they were meeting the X-Men and it was him and his Amy and whatever. Came up with this beautiful story, right? I don't care. Whatever works for you. Get it in your head, right? You've got to get that paradigm into your head. You've got to add it to your list of paradigms. And in your homework sheets today, you can sit down, by the way. In your homework sheets today, I've now added that you practice your luo paradigm, that you practice your phileo paradigm, and you practice your Amy paradigm, right? Because you need to learn it. And there it is, the answers for you, just in case you don't know what that is, right? Okay? You've got to keep practicing all those paradigms, right? You've got to keep doing it. And there will be more, right? But we've got to keep working, make sure you get on top of this. Okay, now, a few things. Now that we've met Amy, there's a few things about Amy that we need to know, right? There's something about Amy, right? A few things about this verb Amy, that we need to get our head around. The first one is when it appears at the start of a sentence. And when it appears at the start of a sentence, something just changes a little bit. It's just a little bit different. particularly when it's the third person one. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the third person singular or the third person plural. So if it's esten or eisen, right? The third person singular, esten, or the third person plural, eisen, if they appear at the start of a sentence, things will just be a little bit different. So esten, if it's at the start of the sentence, we won't translate it as he, she, or it is. We'll translate it as there is. I'll show you an example in a second. We'll translate it as there is. And if eisen, the third person plural, appeared at the start of a sentence, there are. If eisen appeared at the start of a sentence, we'd translate it as there are. Right? If it's front-ended, right at the front of your sentence, then it just changes the way we're going to handle it, right? We're going to translate it a little bit differently. Esten at the start of the sentence, not he, she, or it is, but there is. And eisen at the start of the sentence, not they are, but there are. Okay? So let's do a little bit of an example, just to see how that works. So, well, let's work through this. Try and figure it out. Give you a minute to try and translate that sentence. It's so pretty, I don't want to get rid of it. Tuflos esten en te synagoge. Okay, it's a sentence that I'm translating in Greek. So, if I'm trying to translate a sentence in Greek, what's the first thing I do? I find my verb. Now, because I'm giving you an example about verbs and we're working on Amy, right? Here's our verb. It's esten. Now you've got to keep your eye out for these verbs because they don't look like any of the other verbs we've met, right? So here's a tip for you. You're out translating your sentence, looking for your verb, and you're like, I can't find a verb. I can't find a word that looks like anything like those verb endings that I know. Luo, luas, luai, luom, and luet. There's nothing like that anywhere in my sentence. When you find yourself in that situation, think Amy. Is there an Amy verb here somewhere? Because Amy verbs are verbs that don't look anything like any other verbs, right? And so you might think that when you go hunting for your verb, because that's the first thing you do when you come to any Greek sentence, isn't it? It is the first thing you do when you come to any Greek sentence. These are not the droids you're looking for. Okay, right? That's what you do, okay? Esten. Okay, esten. What does esten mean? She or it is. Yeah? Does my sentence tell me who he, she, or it is that is? Does my sentence tell me who he, she, or it is? What I'm asking you, is there a nominative noun in my sentence? Is there? Looks like it to me. This looks nominative. Ha, tuflos looks very nominative to me. Yes, there is. What's tuflos mean? It's an adjective, isn't it? When I come across an adjective in my sentence when I'm translating, I'm going to ask myself, how is the adjective being used? Is it attributive? Is it predicate? Is it as a noun substitute? Now, what situation have we got going on here? Is it attributive, predicate, or noun substitute? Noun substitute. How do we know that it's a noun substitute? Because there's no. Attributive is going to have an article too. But how do we know it's a noun substitute? Because there is no other noun that agrees with it, right? It could be the subject, it could be the noun substitute as the object too. That doesn't matter. The thing is that here we have nominative masculine singular of our adjective. But do I have a nominative masculine singular noun anywhere else? No, I don't. So, if there's no other noun that it's agreeing with, then it's being the noun, right? It's acting as the noun substitute. So, who he, she, or it is, does my sentence tell me who he, she, or it is? Yes. How do I translate adjectives that are behaving as noun substitutes? I said we translate them as the something one, right? So, the blind one is, there we go. Oh no. Oh no. What did I do wrong? I didn't bracket my prepositional phrases. I always bracket your prepositional phrases. Silly me. I've got a prepositional phrase here. I've got en, te, synagogue. I've got a preposition. What a fool I am, right? Not to follow the steps. Because the steps are there to help you. Don't be like Steve, right? Follow the steps. Don't make silly mistakes like that. Okay, can't know the meaning of my preposition till I know the case of the noun that follows. Case of the noun that follows is te, synagogue. This iota subscript screams dative to me. Yeah. Yes, Eden. Yeah, you could, because we kind of talk like that, but I'd still want you to say the blind ones. Just do it, just to get into the habit. N plus the dative is the dative case that's after it. Now, N plus the dative means, N plus the dative, we looked at our vocab yesterday, the blind one is in the synagogue. Yeah, the synagogue. Okay, cool. The blind one is in the synagogue. Excellent. But now let's have a look at this. If I change that sentence, the blind one is in the synagogue. If I change that sentence to that, and I front load the Eston now, that's all I've done. I front loaded the Eston. Oh, and I got rid of the article too, apparently. Okay, not a massive change. All it is, I took Eston and I put it up the front. Eston tuflos en te synagoge. It's just what I've written up on the screen there. It's exactly the same. It's okay. Eston tuflos en synagoge. And 10 synagogue. Okay, so now remember, I just told you a secret. If we put Eston at the front of the sentence, we change the way we translate it, don't we? So how would I translate this sentence? Eston's at the front of the sentence, so there is a blind one in the synagogue. Right? Can you see how that works? Because I front-loaded Eston at the front of the sentence, I'm now going to translate it just a little bit differently, and it'll be, there is a blind one in the synagogue. Yeah. Yeah.
So initially we had said we pretty much only had the one when we're looking at an adjective replacing the noun.
Yes?
So in this case, is the one only coming in to make sense, or?
Yeah, because how's the adjective behaving in this sentence? Tuflos. How's the adjective behaving? Is it attributive? Is it predicate? Or is it a noun substitute? Can you see? It's still a noun substitute. Hasn't changed because there is no nominative noun that it's attached to. All right? There's no other nominative noun here that's telling you about. And if there's no other noun in the same case, number, and gender as your adjective, then your adjective is the noun, right? It's behaving as the noun. It's the noun substitute, yeah. You got that, Jonathan? Makes sense? So it's still a noun substitute, right? This is still the adjective behaving as a noun substitute, and hence we're still going to translate it a blind one, yeah? Okay? Can you see how that works? Front end the verb to be, these third person ones particularly, then it would be there is, as opposed to, the blind one is in the synagogue that way. This way, there is a blind one in the synagogue. Yeah? Okay? Just a little tricky little thing when it comes to the verb to be. That's all. Main thing we need to know is the verb to be. You know how important that verb is, and you've got to get that paradigm down pat. But that's just one little tricky little thing about the verb to be. Lastly, before we finish up for lunch, and this is another little tricky thing about the verb to be. You can have nouns as complements on the other side of the verb to be. So if you think about it for a second, we worked hard at the boy is good, right? We looked at that sentence earlier, the boy is good, and we saw that was a predicate use of the adjective good. Yeah? But I could have the sentence that says, the boy is king, for instance. Now, boy and king are both nouns. Yeah? Boy and king are both nouns, aren't they? It's not an adjective anymore. It's a noun. The boy is king. Okay. So, if I thought about that sentence for a second, what's the verb? Is. Is the verb. Excellent. What's the subject of that sentence? Who is? The boy is. So what case would you expect the boy to be in? The nominative case, right? Because the nominative is the subject of the verb is, right? It's the nominative case. The boy is what in this sentence? The boy is king. What case would you expect king to be in? You'd expect it to be in the accusative case, right? Because that's kind of the object of the verb, right? The boy is king. You'd expect that. But that's not what happens when it's the verb to be. And we're just talking about Amy, right? We're just talking about the verb to be. This is something unique for Amy. You don't have a subject and an object when it comes to Amy verbs. You have a subject and a complement. You have a subject and a complement. Not a compliment as in, geez, you look pretty today. Not that kind of compliment, right? A compliment as in a grammatical compliment. It complements it. It goes alongside of it. You have a subject and a complement. Not a subject and an object. Not when it comes to the verb to be. You have a subject and a complement. And here's the thing with this, right? This is where it gets tricky. This is where we need to put our head on just for the last 10 minutes before lunch. Push hard. You said you wanted to finish at lunch. This is your fault, not mine, right? Push hard. Keep with us here. You don't have a subject and an object when it comes to the verb to be, right? You have a subject and a complement. And this is where it gets tricky. The subject is in the nominative case. The complement is in the nominative case as well. When you've got the verb to be, you don't have a subject and an object in the accusative case. When it comes to the verb to be, you have a subject and a complement, and the complement will be in the nominative case as well. So, have I got an example here? Yeah, there we go. If I was to translate that, I was to read that. Someone want to read that for me? Hoquios esten hokurios. Excellent. Now someone want to translate that for me? The Son is the kurios, not king, the Lord. Right? The Son is the Lord. That's how I translate that. But notice, Son is the Lord. Because when it comes to verbs to be, Amy verbs, I have my Amy verb here. So I have a subject in the nominative case, hoquios, the Son is, and I have I don't have an object. I don't have an object. I have a complement because it's the verb to be. This is only with the verb to be, right? It's only with the verb to be that we're talking about here. We don't have a subject and an object with the verb to be. We have a subject and a complement. And the complement is always going to be in the nominative case as well. So I have hoquios esten hokurios. The Son is the Lord. Because hokurios is the complement. It's in the nominative case. Okay? You with me here? I'll come to you in a second. You with me? When it comes to the verb to be, and it's just the verb to be, we don't have a subject and an object. We have a subject and we have a complement. And both the subject and the complement are going to be in the nominative case. That's the way it's always going to be. Yeah? Subject and complement in the nominative case. Now, Josh, you got a question?
So, let's say, because Greek has no particular
Can you hear him can you hear his question? Okay, speak up, because this is it. This is exactly where we want to go. Stand up, turn around so everyone can see you. Ask a question in a big, loud voice, because this is exactly the question everybody's asking right now. And if it isn't, then it should be the question you're asking. And if it isn't, it's certainly the question I'm going to answer. So, what is it?
If we swap that with the Lord and the Son on the other side, how do you differentiate?
How do you differentiate, right? How do you figure this out? Because if the Son is the Lord, and Greek, word order doesn't matter, right? Which we've turned with, like, word order doesn't matter. We threw that out the window. How do I know that that sentence is the Son is the Lord rather than the Lord is the Son? How do I figure that out, right? Because so far, Greek's told us which one the subject is and which one the object is, because I've got a nominative case and I've got an accusative case now, and it hasn't been a problem. We can put them wherever we want, because word order doesn't matter in Greek. And now that the subject and the complement are both in the same case, well, now we've got a problem, right? How are we going to figure that out, right? And that's the question that we need to try and sort out here quickly before lunch, right? We've got to try and resolve this issue for us, because this is a problem. Because in this instance, the Son is the Lord, and we all know our theology. That's great. We can say the Lord is the Son. Great, excellent, perfect. But it doesn't always work like that, right? If I say the king is the judge, it doesn't mean that the judge is necessarily the king, right? So we've got to make sure we get this right, because you can't just always swap them around. Now, no. You don't get to do this. Everyone turn around and point. You don't get to do this. No. Come up here. We've only got 5 minutes before lunch, but you snuck into our classroom. So come. You don't get to come. You don't get to sneak into our classroom without saying hi, because these guys don't know you yet. Right? I told you how popular you are. Everyone wants to come in here and say hi.
That's true.
So say hi.
Hello.
This is Mike. Everyone say hi, Mike.
I'll see you tomorrow morning, because I'm preaching. I actually snuck in because I wanted to see how this works with that, to know if I can use this.
This works with the HDMI here.
Yeah, correct.
That's all you need.
Beautiful. That's what I wanted to know.
Awesome. So you're going to give devotions tomorrow morning?
Yeah, but I might just preach this, because that's good.
Yeah, that is good. Greek is good, right? Absolutely. Hey, you want to give us a sneak peek on your devotions tomorrow morning?
Sure. If you want to prepare, it's always good to do homework, because Steve doesn't give you enough.
Yeah, they've got enough to do. But yeah.
Just read 1 Chronicles 21.
1 Chronicles 21. Where else would you go for devotions tomorrow morning? Looking forward to it.
And that would encourage you to do Hebrew next year.
Oh, okay. Hey, now listen, you're going to be teaching these guys?
Second semester.
Second semester.
Yeah, Doctrine of Revelation.
Okay, cool.
And that's it.
Yeah, so Mike's part of the systematic department here. He'll be teaching doctrine in second semester. Awesome. Okay, so...
Actually, I want to know how you know which is which.
Well, take a chair and pull up your seat, mate. We're going to figure this out, right? Because this is a problem. How do you know what's the subject? How do you know what's the complement if they're both in the nominative case and we can do whatever we want, right? Okay, this is how we're going to figure it out, right? How does Greek tell you which one is the subject and which one is the complement when we're talking about verbs to be and both the subject and the complement are in the nominative case? It's got a couple of different ways of doing it for us. And we can get a little bit more technical as we go on throughout life into second year and third year as we advance in Greek. But for the moment, here are some simple rules that are going to work for us, right? Rule number 1. The subject comes before the complement. Word order does matter in this time. If they've both got... Yeah. No, you've got to stay because there's another one. There's point 2. This is what happens. People walk off halfway through and then they think they know everything, right? If there's an article, the subject comes before the complement. If they've both got an article. If they've both got an article, then the subject comes before the complement. So, in the example that we looked at, you cannot translate that as the Lord is the Son. You cannot translate that as that. Because both the subject and the complement, both of them have an article, and because both of them have an article, then the first one's the subject. The second one's the complement. It could be, we could write this, just bear with me, I could write this, ha, huios, kurios, estin. I could write that, because word order doesn't matter in Greek, right? I could write ho kurios estin. It would still be the same sentence. The Son is the Lord. But I cannot translate that as the Lord is the Son because both of them have an article, so the subject is the first one. Yeah? That's the first way Greek does it, right? That's the first way Greek tells you. The second way that Greek can do it, because we've got to try and figure out, we've got to try and distinguish between which one's the subject and which one's the complement. The second way Greek can do it is it can drop the article off the complement. We drop the article off the complement. So for instance, we could write, the Son is the Lord, like this. Kurios estin huios. I'm still going to translate this as the Son is the Lord because I know that the subject is the Son because it's the one with the article. The one without the article is the complement. And then word order is not going to matter at all. I can put it wherever I want, right? Firstly, it's word order if they've both got an article. Secondly, I can drop the article from the complement. The Son is the Lord. I'm still going to translate it like that. I'm not going to translate it as the Son is a Lord, right? Because in this special case, with the verb to be, this is not Greek telling me that it's not the Lord, it's just a Lord. This is Greek's way of telling me that's the complement and that's the subject. Yeah?
So the Son is the Lord, be correct?
The Son is the Lord.
Without the
No, with the Son is the Lord. Oh, I didn't have it down there. I thought I might have it on there. Yeah. Because Greek isn't telling you that he's just a Lord. This is Greek's way of telling you what one the subject is and what one the complement is. Right? The Son is the Lord. Now, where else have we got this? Yeah, you're going to read about this in Duff when you do your stuff, so I won't bother pointing it out to you now. You can see what he says about it too. All right? Okay, this is only with the verb to be, right? And it only gets tricky with the verb to be because the verb to be doesn't have a subject and an object. The verb to be has a subject and a complement, and both of them are in the nominative case, right? And that's why it gets a little bit tricky. But the verb to be is a special verb. Okay. All right, you're happy enough? Okay, now we are done, all right? Now you're happy, all right? We'll call that done for the day. Yeah, Mike, yeah, exactly, yeah, to all of you, exactly, all right? I'm a little bit, I don't know whether to be excited with you or sad that you're so excited that we're done. Okay, all right. But let's just talk about what you're going to do today, right? You're going to read 1 Chronicles 21. Yeah, you can do that, whatever. Look at that tomorrow, right? Okay, what we're going to do, vocab, yeah? Vocab. Chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now chapter 6 as well, right? It's not going to stop. Those of you who have let it go, now it's snowballing, right? Now we've got 6 chapters, 30 words, 180 words. You've got to dig deep now, right? Now is the time. It's not too late, but keep working hard on this. If you haven't been working hard on it, realize that you need to start. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble. If you have been working hard on it and you've still got lesson 10 in your quiz this morning, then get together with a friend, ring me, send me a text message, WhatsApp, email, whatever it is. Don't just drown. But don't do nothing, people, please. All right? You have to do this. You have to put the effort in. Greek won't give you anything for free. It won't. If you don't work hard at learning your vocab, you won't learn it. You won't be able to recognize the words. It's just as simple as that, right? You gotta do it. So vocab all the way up to and including chapter 6. Tomorrow's vocab test counts again. Tomorrow's vocab test counts up to and including chapter 6. All right? Counts for another 1%. If you do well in these, you can whack up a nice little 10% and think it away. All right? Plus, on Friday, you've got a quiz that's worth 20%, right? That's only a few days away. You need to be working on this stuff hard. I would expect you go home now, you have lunch till 2. Give yourself a break. Go eat some food. Go wander along the beach. Back in your desk at 2:30. And then for the next 3 hours, you're working on Greek, right? Why are you smiling and laughing at me? That's what I expect you guys to be doing. Seriously, this is Greek summer school. Do you think I was joking? Eat, sleep, Greek. That's it, right? And then I expect you to have a break and have some dinner, and then from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, do another 2 hours, right? We talked about this every single day. Every hour you spend in the class, you need to spend more than an hour outside of the class. And we're spending 5 or 6 hours in class every day, so you've got to try to find the time to put in, to get it into your head. This is what we're doing this week. This week we are eating and sleeping and Greeking. It'll be Friday afternoon soon enough, and you can just, chill a bit, right? But that's not what for the next couple of days is about. The next couple of days is eat, sleep, Greek, right? We've done everything in chapter 5. We've finished it, okay? Undone. So, chapter summary. Chapter 5's chapter summary. Do that as well. Homework sheets. I'm just going to put them at the back again. You collect them on the way out. I told you, I've given you the new paradigm practices that now includes your Amy paradigms. I haven't printed all the other ones out for you, but you've got to keep working on all your noun paradigms as well. Get them all under your head. Make sure you know everything. I'm just giving you the new one, right? It's got Amy in it. Practice sheets at the front. There's a whole stack of stuff about adjectives, right? And what we've looked at today, it's fairly self-explanatory. I don't need to go through it. You should be able to figure that out. So I'm going to put them at the back here. Make sure you take one on your way out. Is there anything else you should be doing for homework? I can't think at the moment. So I'd say not is the answer. Vocab, chapter summaries, homework sheets, paradigms, get into it. And if you want to, do as many of the practice exercises at the end of the chapters as you can. The more you practice, the more it'll come together, the better off you're going to be. So get together and practice, practice, practice. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. You can have the afternoon off to work by yourselves on your Greek. I saw that look, Eden. Yeah.
When are you going